exciting things about Young Talent Time is that the children not only learn to sing and to dance, but they learn to act and perform in many ways. And I don't think there's any Young Talent Time member over the years that has utilised those talents as well as this next lady, which we're about to say hello to. Would you have a little look at her when she was a member of the Young Talent Team and see if you recognise the face? That, of course, is Sally Boyden, and not only was Sally a fine singing and dancing member of our Young Talent Team, but after she left our program, she achieved several gold records with her first album called The Littlest Australian, which was a huge success. She then went on to make 5 successful movies as an actress, and then went on, I nearly forgot, to stage plays like The Sound of Music, in which she starred and did a wonderful job. Well, she hasn't given up yet, because she's just added another string to her bow. She's currently in London, songwriting, doing songs for people like Cliff Richards and many others, and I'm sure she's going to be an incredible success in that field too. And let's cross now via satellite to London and hear from Sally Boyden.
Hello, everybody, Young Talent Time. Happy 600th birthday. I think I joined after about 80 shows, so that means I'm 520 behind or something. I feel very old. I'm here in London having a good time. It seems a long way away from when I was 7 years old and started on your show singing Papa in a purple dress. But I'm really enjoying myself, and good luck for everything in the future. And I know you'll keep going strong.
And that's Sally Boyden, and there's a couple of people sharing a few tears in our audience tonight, because Sally's been in London now for about 6 or 7 months, and her mum and dad and grandmother and all the kids of the Boyden family are with us, and would you give them a big welcome to the program? The Boyden family, everybody. Terrific. And speaking of parents...
Yes. Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Because I've said this many times before, but the Young Talent Team parents, like the Boyden family, are very, very important to us here at Young Talent Time, because the kids have to do a lot of work and they get terrific support from their families, not only in transportation but in encouragement and getting them to places on time. So how about we introduce on stage and meet the mums and dads of the Young Talent Team. Come on up. Now, I wonder, as you look nice and closely, if you can pick who belongs to who. Now, have a little look, and I'll introduce. First of all, down the end here, the handsome-looking couple are Mr. and Mrs. Peroni, Joey's mum. Then, at the back, you can tell from the blonde hair, that's Mr. and Mrs. Greg Poynton, Greg Poynton's mum and dad. Mrs. Del Tito, Vinnie's mum, right down the very front. Next to her, this is Mrs. Addensaw, Bevan's mother. Mr. and Mrs. Van Ree, Katie Van Ree's mum and dad. And Mr. and Mrs. Minogue, and can't you tell that Danielle looks a lot like her mother, eh? And then next to that we have Mr. and Mrs. Dunkerton, Karen Dunkerton's mother. Mr. Navoa, the father of our brand new Young Talent Team member right here. And last cab off the rank, a delightful young lady who has a beautiful daughter. This is Vanessa Windsor's mother, Mrs. Windsor. And just so that you know where the Young Talent Team members get all their singing and dancing talents from, they killed me for asking him to do this, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, here are the Young Talent Team mums and dads. Yeah.
Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're gonna go through it together. We may not go far, as sure as a star. Wherever we are, it's together. Wherever I go, I know he goes. Wherever I
And come back and join us again when Young Talent Time continues to enjoy our 600th episode. Thank you and welcome back to our 600th episode of Young Talent Time. And right from our very first episode, one of the most important parts of our program has always been our contestants. And of course, when you have contestants, you need something very special, and that's a judge. And judging on Young Talent Time is always a hard thing to do because you're dealing with children and you can't destroy them completely. You have to encourage them, and that's what we try to do. And I think we've had some of the most encouraging judges on Young Talent Time throughout the years. And would you give them a big round of encouragement tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our Young Talent Time judges. Actually, it's interesting because we haven't really had what you would call a great amount of judges. Of course, right in the very front here, and I love you, Evie, Miss Evie Hayes, everybody. Say something when I say I love you.
And I love you back.
Fantastic. Mr. Ronnie Tudor. Thank you. And in the very first episode of Young Talent Time, we didn't have much of a budget in those days.
Nothing.
Because on our very first episode, we had Anne and Johnny Hawker. Johnny Hawker was our musical director. Anne and Johnny Hawker were our special guests. And they were also judges. All three in one. Anne and Johnny Hawker, everybody. And, of course, two of the bestest in the business, looking just beautiful and young after all these years.
Thanks, John.
Honor Walters and Ronnie Burns, everybody. Now, Anne and Johnny and Evie Hayes, of course, were the judges on our very first episode. And here are here is the judging of the very first episode. Have a look at
He
this.
chose a lovely song, and he sang it very nicely. I must commend him on his diction. Very, very good. And even though it was a slow song, he smiled several times through it, so that means a lot. John, I've given John 75 points.
Beautiful. Fine. And now to cast the opinion of Anne and Johnny Hawker. John Hawker.
Right. John, I can't but agree with Evie's remarks. I think you sang extremely well and very nicely in tune. A couple of shaky notes, but nevertheless, beautiful voice, very nicely done. And I would like to give you 74.
Isn't that wonderful stuff? And who was that young, skinny kid sitting at the side?
It wasn't me.
Okay. Now, as I said, our budget was very small during the first episode, and Anne and Johnny Hawker were our very special guest stars. Now, if you were blushing then, you have a little look at this.
I'm going home.
Cinderella Rockefeller.
You're the lady that I love.
And the lady who, you're the fella that rocks me.
Rockefeller, Rockefeller,
You're my Rockefeller.
you're my Cinderella.
That was our special guest. Now, an interesting...
Fired us.
Actually, that was a huge hit record, Cinderella
It was,
Rockefeller. The very first contestants on Young Talent Time on our first episode were interesting because the compere was Johnny Young, the musical director was Johnny Hawker, and the contestants were all Johns. John Stafford, Johnny LaPiccolo, and John Kelly. Have a little look at our first three contestants.
You're young and alive. Come out of your half-dream dream.
LaPiccolo, of course, went on to become Johnny St. Peters and a very big pop star, and isn't he cute?
We study elephants and eagles.
And contestant number 3, John Kelly.
Alligator, guinea pig, and flea. We would convert these polar bears.
And the interesting thing is that the winner on that night was Johnny LaPiccolo, who, of course, went on to become Johnson Peters. And so your judging was very, very good.
Yeah. We must have known something.
And actually, it's quite, when you consider this, that of the contestants on Young Talent Time, a lot of them have gone on to be very successful. Trevor Hindmarsh, Julie Riles, Robert McCullough, Derek Redfern, Greg Mills, our current musical director, Debbie Hancock, Nicole Cooper, Karen Knowles, Johnny Bowles, Stephen Zammett, Jodie Lobert, Karen Dunkerton, Joey Peroni, Vince Del Tito, Vanessa Windsor and Danielle Minogue have all gone on to show business. Isn't that great? Okay. There's no business like show business. Isn't that a good cue for a song? Didn't even get to count it in. 1, 2, 3.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing, everything the traffic will allow. When you get that happy feeling, when you are stealing that extra bow. There's no people like show people, they smile when they are low. Even when the turkey that you know will fold, you may be stranded out in the cold. Still you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the show. Even with the turkey that you know will fold, you may be stranded out in the cold. Still you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the show.
There's no business like show business, and there's nothing like a judge on Young Talent Time. Boys and girls, mums and dads, would you thank our judges for being with us tonight? There's a young lady that also came on as a contestant on Young Talent Time who went on to become the longest-serving member of our program. Have a look and see if you can remember this little girl.
Won't they? They feed us, don't they? Oh, you would think a girl and baby well accepted every way. It's just amazing how they believe.
And that, of course, is Tiny Tina Arena, as she was known then. And, of course, she's no longer with Young Talent Time these days because she's out in the wide world of recording show business. And at the moment, she's in the recording studio at AAV, and we cross over there. Oh, no, we don't? Okay, hang on. While they're getting that ready, this is fun. You'll just love this because Tina used to cause a lot of laughs here at Young Talent Time, and a lot of them at her expense. Have a look at this. This is Tina Arena getting into a bit of mischief. She was always a good sport, and now that our cameras are live ready over there at AAV, let's cross the Tina Arena for this word from her on our 600th episode. Here's Tina.
Hi, John. I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish you and everyone involved in Talent Time a very happy 600th show. I'm sorry I can't be with you, but at the moment I'm busy recording on my solo album, which will hopefully be released next year. But once again, a very happy 600, and I hope it'll go on for another 600.
She's a wonderful talent, Tina, and I expect lots of big things from her in the recording world and in any part of showbiz that she undertakes. And of course, we have happy moments on Young Talent Time, and we have sad moments too, and none sadder for me personally, and I'm sure everybody associated with Young Talent Time, than when Tina Arena made her last performance on our program. Let's have another little look at that.